Welcome back to the North Star Takes podcast with Bailey Palicki and Jacob Liberta. You can find all our videos here on our YouTube channel, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and feel free to give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram as well. We've appreciated everyone that's done that so far and is growing our community on those platforms as well. Today we're going to get into our second Vikings 53-man roster projection. Not a whole lot of changes with this, but obviously some stuff has happened here within these last couple preseason games, so we'll just kind of give an update on what we're expecting, I guess, the starting 53 to look like. So let's just jump right in, Liberta. I got Cousins obviously starting at quarterback.
Yep.
And now I flipped around Mon and Jake Browning with how horrible Jake Browning has been
Yes.
in this preseason. I'm not so sure that Mond will be the number 2. I have a feeling that they could go out and get like a veteran backup that gets cut or something, make him the backup, and then, Mond is just the third string who redshirts this season. So how are you feeling about that position group?
Yeah, it felt like we were trending towards Cousins being the starter and having Browning be the backup and then Mond just kind of waiting in the wings. But at this point, I kind of think Browning could be an odd man out because I think he's a very fringe roster player, and it really depends how they feel about bringing in a veteran option to back up Kirk. Because if they feel stronger about some backup on the street than Browning's as good as gone. And then, honestly, this is probably the one spot on the offense I'm looking at right now where I think things are really changing for me as far as from the last roster projection we did.
Yeah, absolutely. Browning's completely blown his opportunity.
Yep.
He had that great practice opportunity because he was the only Vikings quarterback vaccinated that didn't have to miss practice. The preseason has kind of shown that he just really isn't an NFL quarterback, I don't think. So, like you said, that might make him the odd man out. We'll move on to running backs here. We do have a slight change. We still have Cook, Madison, Nwangu, C.J. Ham, and then we have them keeping Amir Abdullah as well. And I think that's strictly just a special teams move.
Yes, totally. I think he's a guy, I've seen this comparison on Twitter where he's kind of like Marcus Sherrills, where it's like, this is finally the year he's going to get cut and not miss the roster, whatever you want to call it. And I just think that he provides, like you said, value on special teams, that he's going to go out there and be a grinder that Zimmer likes compared to some of these other guys deeper in these position groups that are relied upon to play special teams. So I think he's turning into a Zim guy, so I think he makes the team.
As for wide receivers, we kept it the same here. Jefferson, Thielen, KJ Osborne, Amir Smith-Marsette, D.D. Westbrook, and Chad Beebe, although I don't necessarily think it'll be in that order. Because although KJ Osborne's had a great training camp and he's been really good in the practices, he hasn't done – really nobody's done a whole lot in the preseason. But I noticed this last game, Chad Beebe was getting open quite a bit, and he actually caught quite a few balls. So I could definitely see them making him the wide receiver 3, at least to start off with. I really could. They trust him for some reason. He makes the roster every season.
No.
He's played in NFL games. I don't want that to be the case, but I could definitely see it being the case.
This cannot happen. This was literally all over PFF grades of our offense at the end of last season. He was terrible. Yep. I don't want to see that guy on the field. I don't care if he's like a 6th man on the roster in this wide receiver room, but I don't want to see that guy hit the field. I'd much rather see any of these other guys play before him. But like you said, I feel like there's some weird thing where it's like he's going to play because he's just one of the coach's guys. But I'm not a fan. I don't want that to happen.
If D.D. Westbrook gets to 100% health, then maybe that would change, and I would hope it would change because he's definitely a better player.
He's more talented than anybody past Thielen and Jefferson in this wide receiver room.
Yeah, I'm just saying I wouldn't expect too much out of Osborne or Smith-Marsette, at least right off the bat, because I think they're going to want to roll with somebody who's been there before. I don't love it either, but I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. Tight ends, we still have Smith, Conklin, and then Brandon Dillon making the squad. Davidson and Zylstra, obviously, hopefully to the practice squad. O-line, not a whole lot of change there. Actually, no change there either. We still have Rashad Hill, Ezra Cleveland, Garrett Bradbury, Oli Udoh, Brian O'Neill, Christian Darrisaw, Mason Cole is the backup center, Wyatt Davis, and then Blake Brandel is kind of like the swing tackle, especially for now while Darrisaw is recovering from injury. I think what's been encouraging, though, is Wyatt Davis has performed very well in these 2 preseason games.
Yes, absolutely. Seen his progression from his first few snaps against Denver all the way through this past Indianapolis game. Like, he's really taken off and coming into his own in the league, and that's really nice to see that he's really progressing like the scouts probably hoped he would once he got into our system and on this team. So I think it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before he's starting. But as long as Udoh is playing fine, like I don't see the the need to really rush Davis into something maybe he's not ready for yet, but
Yeah.
soon enough.
I agree with you. The only way this could change is if Rashad Hill really struggles because he did not look good against the Colts.
Sure.
They could maybe try to slide Udo back to left tackle if Darrisaw's not ready.
Good point.
That would open the pathway for Wyatt Davis to jump up to right guard. So I think that could be an interesting little wrinkle that could get thrown in there.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree, and that's probably why they were giving Udo snaps at left tackle, along with right guard. So I mean, I definitely could see that if Hill just struggles right at the bat, I feel like he's probably got a short leash
for sure. Defensive line, just the one change. We still have Daniil Hunter, Michael Pierce, Dalvin Tomlinson, DJ Wanham, Stephen Weatherly, Sheldon Richardson, Patrick Jones, Armon Watts, and then Everson Griffin recently signed. Yes. He is slotting in after Janarius Robinson jumps on the IR. He's going to be out for the season, which is unfortunate for the fourth-round rookie. But it's nice getting Griffin back in the fold, and this defensive line just looks extremely strong from top to bottom.
Goes really deep, and I can't wait. It's going to be such a night and day difference from last year's group. Like, that was terrible. Like, I don't want to see that ever again. And I think Zibber didn't either after that Christmas Day game against New Orleans. And so that's why we are where we are with this defensive line group and how much we've really bolstered it. So I'm really excited about what this team can bring, or what this group can bring. Yep. And I think it's a hallmark of a championship team if you really are going to be one, a good D-line that gets after the quarterback, but obviously can also stop the run too, but really make life difficult for the offense right up front.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to linebackers, we have Barr, Kendricks, Vigil, Chaz Surratt, and Troy Dye. Cam Smith retired recently. We had him making it in our last projection. Obviously, he won't be making it now. So we have them keeping 5 linebackers, but I think that could change due to the uncertain status of Anthony Barr.
Yes, that could be highly likely, potentially. But I'd also say I could see Connolly getting the job over Troy Dye.
Okay, even after the great preseason game Troy Dye just had?
Even after that, yeah, because I think that could have been a flash in the pan in the coach's eyes, depending, right place, right time. But I think I don't know. I feel like that's really close at the end of that linebacker room. Could be any of them, but also, I mean, to me, it probably doesn't really matter that much. I'm not as intelligent of a football eye as these football coaches are on this team, so it probably won't make a difference. But at least you wouldn't think. But I mean, if Barr is really down for a while, then you really got to consider your options and who really fits into this group the best.
Yeah, I would definitely say Connolly and Blake Lynch are definitely the two that are right on the doorstep there, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see one of them make the team. So, cornerbacks, obviously no changes there.
This is a slam dunk, as much as any on the roster.
The only issue is, so we have Dantzler as the number 2 corner on this depth chart, but I think he's slid down considerably. Bashad Breeland is going to start.
Yes.
And I think as of what we've seen recently, Cam Dantzler's behind Chris Boyd, which is a little concerning.
Yes, but I mean, good for Boyd. I think he's really been out there balling, honestly, through this whole training camp and preseason. So pretty happy about him. And like Zimmer has said before, he's a very naturally gifted guy. It's just really staying focused and staying within his craft. And honestly, he could turn into a really good corner and potentially just beyond this year. We have a lot of guys on these one-year deals. Maybe Boyd is a guy we can count on to stay and potentially be a starter going forward.
That'd be great as a 7th-round pick. That'd be awesome for him to be able to turn into that.
Huge still.
Safety, we still have Harrison Smith, Xavier Woods, Miles Dorn, and Cam Bynum. But I would not be surprised once again to see them go out and sign a veteran backup safety, just because Dorn and Bynum really haven't shown much at all.
No, these guys have not looked good in the preseason, so I definitely could see that happening too, depending on who's out there and who's available and who gets cut and things like that.
So that'll be interesting to see. Special teams, we still have Greg Joseph, Colquitt, and DePaula, the long snapper. So, not a whole lot of change, but definitely some interesting wrinkles that have been thrown in within the last couple of weeks here. And it's getting close to cutdown day. We're not too far away now. So
yes, for sure. And honestly, keep an eye out on the kicker waiver market too.
Yeah,
because I heard from the scrimmage that Zimmer really wanted to have after a just disappointing effort. I heard that in those team drills that Greg Joseph was 7 of 11 for kicking field goals, that's not going to cut it. That's not it. So I think they definitely got to explore their options. Maybe an ex-golfer like Ryan Santoso. But
yeah, I've seen his name floated around there. That'd be kind of cool to see that.
I would greatly enjoy that. I'd probably take almost anything at this point over Greg Joseph, at least somebody to come in and compete and really push him.
Yeah, they for sure should be having a competition at the very least. But that's going to do it for this edition of the North Star Takes podcast. Be sure to like our videos and hit that subscribe button as well. Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram, and leave your comments below about what you think about our second 53-man roster projection.